welcome. It's really nice to see some, I don't want to use the term old offensively, but some faces I've seen previously and some current ones that I haven't met yet. So really nice to meet you all. And for me, it's lovely to be back on delivering an online session because I've not done any for a long time. So I'm Jane and I've worked for Salus since 2018, and I came as a beneficiary, and I've felt the important benefits that I received. And since working from 2018, I've been really happy to help and deliver and support and sort of pass on and share as much as I can so that we're all on our various parts of our healing journey. And over on my right, but probably not on yours, above or below,
it's Annette. My name's Annette Henry. I'm one of the healthcare providers for the Salus Fatigue Foundation, with experience of chronic fatigue and more recently the post-COVID breathlessness that a lot of people have experienced. So yeah, it's been very meaningful to me to get on and sort things out for myself as well.
So today's session is going to give you a little bit of gentleness, hopefully you'll be able to do and take on board. And if it's something you feel that you don't want to join in with us straight away, it's something, as Emily said, it's recorded, so it's something that you could watch over again. And it might be the part that I'm going to do might be something that you've done with me previously, and it doesn't mean that it's not a good thing to do it again. I can't remember which way we organised it and which way suggested it, so I'm going to ask Annette. Can you remember? Brain fog.
Yes, I can remember. I think it's a bit of a sandwich where you're the interesting bit in the middle. So what I would like you to do, this is mainly in the context of what I'm doing, it's mainly about breathing and getting you to slow down. And I'm going to try and give you as many reasons why that's going to be such an incredibly good idea to do. I am aware that sometimes when you have a condition, a fatigue-related condition, actually slowing down your breathing it sounds like it's going to be easy, and it may not be. Any kind of meditation or massage or any kind of work that you can do to relax yourself more physically is really helpful. This is why it's really beneficial that Jane's going to intervene and give some of her way of doing things, which I think you'll find really useful. And I'm going to give that a go as well. So before we start, if you're willing, I would like to test we call it a BOLT score or a control pause. It depends which modality you use. The BOLT actually stands for body oxygen level test. However, it's actually going to test your sensitivity to carbon dioxide, which is quite interesting. And I'll explain it to you when you've done. In order to do it, you will need some kind of timing device. It could be the second hand on your watch or a clock. Could be your own personal stopwatch if you happen to have one next to you, which is unlikely, or it just could be your timer on your mobile phone. And anything that's going to time seconds is what you need for this. Ideally be sitting, which I suspect you mostly are. Those that I can see seem to be sitting. And what I will repeat this, so don't do it just yet, so that I could get to repeat it so you know exactly what you're doing. And if it's not clear, please ask. So I'm going to be asking you to take just a normal breath in through your nose. Nothing big, just normal breath in through your nose and a normal breath out through your nose. And then when you've done the exhale, I'm going to ask you to pinch your nose and hold it until the point where your body tells you it's time to breathe again. This is not a maximum breath hold. It's not asking you to compete with anybody else. It's not even asking you to compete with yourself. There's no room for perfectionist tendencies here. This is not where it comes into play at all. So this is really just listening to your body and letting your body say, right, it's time to breathe. And the way that plays out is sometimes down here, the diaphragm twitches a little bit. Sometimes you can feel it in your throat. Sometimes it's just your brain, because that's where the message ultimately comes from, saying it's time to breathe again. And that's it. And whatever the result is absolutely fine, because it's a message to you to give an idea of where you're up to, and to me to some extent, if you're willing to tell me what your score is, which you also don't have to do. If you have any reason for not wanting to do this, then that's fine. You can always do it at a later date as suggested, because we're going to have the recording. So if you are willing to do it, it'd be useful just as a guide to you and a guide to me, if you're willing to tell me. So it will be a case of taking a normal breath in through your nose, a normal breath out through your nose, pinch your nose, and you hold your breath until your body says time to breathe again, and then you let go. And at that point, that's where you measure the time. That's the number of seconds. And it doesn't matter how short or how long it is, it's your time. It's entirely you. So if you're ready, I shall turn away slightly. I'm not going to stare at you all having a go at this. This is a bit unnerving. And if you want to turn to one side, if you're on camera, that's fine too. However you want to do it. So it's the normal breath in through your nose and normal breath out through your nose. Pinch your nose and hold and start counting until you're ready to let go. And I'll give it about a minute so people have got time to be getting on with it and recording it. So yeah, start it from about now. Okay, that's about a minute, and some of the scores have come in already. If anybody else wants to add one, you're very welcome to. It gives me an idea of where to pitch it and to make sure that nobody's being overstretched, I suppose, really. I don't want to do that. So this is really useful to have. And I know some of you have done it before, you knew what you were doing. That's good too. Okay, let me just have a look, see if there are any more. Yeah. Good. Right. Okay. Well, let me give you some idea of the results there. They're quite varied, which is fine, but I expected that. And luckily, nobody's in that range of being under 5, which does happen. I mean, I've come across quite a few people recently who just can't hold their breath. They can't really get to the end of a sentence very easily because they're so breathless. I tell them it's good news because there's room for improvement, because that really is the case. If you have below 10, then there's definitely work to do. This is definitely dysfunctional breathing. That doesn't mean there's something you need to worry about. Again, you've got room for improvement, which means yeah, Shane and Emily are both on the same. Yes, thank you. You have got room for improvement if you've got it under 10, and you're probably in a degree of breathlessness and finding exertion a little bit difficult and so on. I still think it's good news because you've got somewhere to go. If it's 15 or around 15 or slightly below, then that's better. It's looking better. There's a bit more that you can do in terms of exercises. You don't need to hold back too much. 20, you're finding that things are getting a little bit better, I would say, at 20. I have to say that all of those figures that are in front of me at the moment classify as dysfunctional breathing. You are only not a time of day can make a difference, so don't panic, because all these things can make a difference. You become non-dysfunctional in your breathing at around 25 seconds. 89% of those who have 25 seconds as their control pause are classified as not having dysfunctional breathing. And obviously there are 11% still do. The aim, but this is sports people, the aim is 40. I'm not there yet at all. I'm hovering around 25, give or take. That's not going to happen for me for a very long time. It's also not nice and linear either. So whilst if you're going to practice some breathing exercise, I strongly recommend that you do check in with this score quite frequently. The best time to do it is first thing in the morning, because you've done nothing to wear yourself out. You've not eaten. Food makes a difference. If you've just had food, that will lower it as well. All sorts of things can impact on it. So that's a great start. Has anybody got any questions before we move on from there? Just so that there's nothing standing in the way of progression here. Yeah, go on then.
Mine's not really a question, but I just wanted to say from the last time that we did this, I was, I think, 6 or 7, and I just had COVID, and now I'm at 6. So the breathwork techniques really do work. So I'm actually quite surprised at how high that was this time.
Which one's yours? Because you've got 2 accounts.
16.3 today.
Brilliant.
Or it was about
Oh, brilliant. Oh gosh, I don't normally get a 0.3. That's quite impressive. That's excellent. No, it's really good. I thought yours was a lot lower before. I mean, I don't store them all in my head or anything. That's really good.
I've got a cold now, so even with a cold, I was surprised at that result there. But yeah,
brilliant. That's really, yeah, that's great. That's excellent. Really pleased. Okay, so let's have a go at slowing breathing down, because most of us need that. So I'm going to ask you to, some of you have done this before. Again, it's useful practice, and I've got even more to tell you. I'm gathering more information. It's all really exciting. There are new studies out. I'll try not to get too excited because I'm going to ask you to calm down and slow things down. So at the moment, I'm going to assume that we're all breathing a bit like this. We're breathing in, we're breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. What I'm going to ask you to do now is to try and lessen all of that. So lower it. So you're breathing less air in and you're breathing out quite slowly. If you can breathe out a little more slowly, then so much the better. So make sure you're sitting up straight, nice and straight. So not, because then you've got your breathing apparatus have got more room to expand and so on. This is absolutely through the nose if you can do it. If there's so even if you've got a cold, the more it really is a use it or lose it thing with the nose. So both in and out through the nose exclusively. So I'm going to ask you again. We'll start this properly. So take a soft and gentle breath in and a slow, relaxed and gentle breath out. It needs to suit you, this speed. So it's a slow breath in and a soft, relaxed and gentle breath out. And a slow breath in and a soft, relaxed and gentle breath out. And a slow breath in and a soft, relaxed and gentle breath out. Now, can I ask you to keep that going for a little bit while I fill you in with a few interesting facts that make it a little bit more compelling, I think. When you breathe slowly in particular and keep it light, I know there are techniques that suggest you should have a certain number of breaths per minute, and there are benefits to that, but when you struggle with a high sensitivity to carbon dioxide, which you've all demonstrated with your scores there, you're oversensitive to carbon dioxide at the moment. And as a result of that, there's a really, really strong chance that you breathe a little bit too fast for your own metabolic needs. So your body doesn't need the amount of air you're taking it, and in fact can't use it, and it causes problems to you. It actually can increase your stress, increase your anxiety, and reduce your ability to sleep well, both in terms of duration and quality. So slowing the breathing down is really important. It does wonderful things. You have a really big nerve running throughout your body called the vagus nerve, which you may well have heard of. And once you start breathing slowly in particular, this vagus nerve comes into being, and it works its magic on your nervous system and helps to calm you down. It actually triggers the release of a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine as well. And that impacts on your heart rate and helps to keep your heart slower and improves your heart rate variability. I wouldn't normally mention that, but so many people have got the smartwatches now and have the HRV on it. So if that's something that's of interest to you, that's something you can be looking at as you practice the breathing exercises. So I'll just come back to reminding you that you're taking a slow, relaxed and gentle breath in and a soft, relaxed and even slower breath out. The slower breath out, the exhale there, if it's slower, will have a calming effect. And there's a reason for that. This heart rate variability thing, you can actually test if you can feel your pulse. I don't recommend doing it now because, well, you can try it if you like. Some people can feel the pulse in their neck. I'm not very good at this, but I have felt it. If you take a breath, as you breathe in, keep to what you were doing. As you breathe in, you may find that it goes just a little bit faster. And as you breathe out, it slows down. And the reason for that is the inhale is a minor stressor, and the exhale is exactly the opposite. And that's why if you're doing a number of breaths where the exhale is slower, then you can slow it down. You can slow your whole body down because your vagus nerve is getting trained, and that vagal tone that you develop is like when you develop a muscle, it stays with you for a while, so it doesn't diminish the moment you stop. So that's great. As long as you keep the practice going, you'll keep your muscles strong if that's what you're training, or your vagus nerve strong if that's what you're training here. So that's another reason for doing it. Also, this slow breathing triggers the release of melatonin, or the production of melatonin, which most people know as a sleep hormone, which you can't buy over the counter in Britain. So this is a really good way of getting your own free melatonin. Now, the thing is, if you still can't sleep, which has been the case for me, you still want the melatonin because it's really useful for immunity. It's a very potent antioxidant. So the slow breathing triggers melatonin as well. Now, there's been a very recent study come out, which I think is really exciting. And this especially relates to people who struggle to sleep. And if the slow breathing still doesn't get you to sleep, or back to sleep if you've woken up, I'm going to suggest still do it. Still do it while you're lying there at night, because if there's one scare story that keeps coming out when you have insomnia, of course, insomniacs read this stuff because they want to know what's going on. They want to know the solution. They don't get the solution, they get the scare stories. And the scare stories include what awful Alzheimer's you're going to get. You don't need to know this. This is not what you want. However, really, really good news. This slow breathing has been proven now in a study this year to actually reduce the incidence of Alzheimer's in both young and old adults. So that means that whatever age you're practicing, it's useful to you. I think that's super exciting. And the neurotransmitter I mentioned recently that is stimulated by slow breathing, that's low in people with Alzheimer's. So it would suggest that triggering it more often through slow breathing might be useful. I'm putting two things together there, but isn't it worth trying? There's no reason not to do this. It's just so useful to you. I think you've probably been going for a while there. If you were breathing nice and slowly in and out, and as slow as you can manage without feeling stress, two things should happen. You should have felt a little bit of air hunger. And that is, ideally, you'd like to breathe a bit more, but you know this is good for you because you're resetting your sensitivity to that carbon dioxide. I know we think it's a waste gas, but actually, if you didn't have it in your system, you wouldn't breathe. So it's that essential. You have to be able to tolerate a certain level of carbon dioxide because that's what stimulates your breathing. It's the first stimulant to breathe. So if you have a little bit extra saliva in your mouth when you're doing that, it's good feedback because it's saying your body is so relaxed you could digest food. So that's good news. And also you may find, and it's useful now because it's gone cold, it helps to warm your extremities because you actually oxygenate better when you breathe like that. When you take in less air and slow it down, you find that sometimes your extremities warm up, which is really handy at this time of year. Now, I'm also aware that, and because I've actually been in this situation, particularly at night, when I was first doing this, woke up, tried to breathe slowly. I thought I was breathing slowly till I tried to slow it down and found I couldn't slow it down, which I found quite worrying. This is the point where I think you need to intervene in some way, and some kind of meditation or massage will work very well. And a self-massage, obviously, if you're lying in bed, might be just the thing. In fact, I strongly recommend, especially if you've got thoughts whizzing around in your head, do something quite physical. So I think you may find that by doing what Jane's about to present, this could be very useful, especially if you cannot quite slow your breathing down as much as you would like to, or if you just like doing a massage, because who wouldn't? So I'm going to pass over to Jane now.
I think we need it now. I'm there. Again, with massage, there's some lovely research out there to say that if you receive a massage, you produce quite a lot of oxytocin, which again helps lower blood pressure and heart rate. If you deliver a massage, you also produce some oxytocin, not as much as the recipient of the massage, but if you watch a massage, you also produce some oxytocin. So if at the moment you don't feel like working through, or you're a bit achy and you only do part of it, even if you watch someone else having their massage, you're actually doing yourself some good. So I don't know whether you've got any of these little things around you at the moment. I always have a little coconut oil, because that's just quite nice for a pocket size, handbag size. Castor oil has been the big thing at the moment, particularly there's lots of research at the moment, particularly to do with the menopause and things. Castor oil is a nice one either for a hair mask, hair conditioner, or a bit of conditioner, or just your regular moisturizer as well, if you wish, if you've got those, as Annette said, at your bedside if you're struggling. So you'd warm it in the palm of your hands. So let's start off just warming the palm of our hands with or without an oil. And whilst we're just warming our hands, let's give our shoulders a little roll, because if you were like me, because I was concentrating on breathing, I was aware that my shoulders started to work up because I was thinking of something. Okay, and we're going to work through some nice acupressure points on our face. So just taking, if you want, the middle pads of your fingers and just start circling gently, just right by the side of your eyebrows, on those little furrow lines, and work your way up slowly, doing those circles to your hairline, all the way up. So it's almost as if you're drawing a straight line up from the edge of your eyebrows, and then gliding and sliding back down to the edge of your eyebrows. You may feel your eye sockets now and start opening up. If you're into third eyes, we're opening up that third eye area, and glide along the top of the eye socket and your eyebrows. And then come into that temple region. Just ensure that you feel relaxed with your shoulders, and maybe give a little more love to the temple if you need it. If you get a little bit headachy there, now's the time to give it some love, a bit of self-soothing, before you gently work your way down to underneath your eye socket, top of your cheeks. Just work your way along. And we're going to show the nose some love, because we're going to use it again shortly. So either side of the nose, come down towards the bottom of your cheekbone, the sort of top of your teeth, working out. Keep working out on the lower edge of your cheeks towards your ears. And this is our temporomandibular junction or joint. If we talk a lot, Jane. If we're teeth grinders, other people, we may feel that a bit more muscular, a bit achy. So give it a little bit more massage if it needs it, before coming along down the jawbone. So just sitting on top of that jawbone, where our fingers are going to work towards our chin. They're going to meet in the middle, just drop them under the jawbone and slide out and towards those lymph nodes at the back of our ears, those throaty lymph nodes, and give them a little massage there. Okay, so let's do that again. If you need to shrug your shoulders and relax them, if you need to have a few head tilts, take them. Just get a little bit of feeling back to that self-soothing. If we have a headache, we often go straight there. So we're going to glide and slide up towards our hairline. Gently slide back down to meet the end of the eyebrows. Along the top of our eyebrows, heading gently towards our temple. Tune into any sounds. Any sensations. The underside of the eye now, top of cheekbone. Head towards that nose. And what you might find here is you can actually sort of draw back and almost open the nose a little bit. That definitely helps me with breathing. When we do alternate nostril breathing, I need to open up a little bit more there. So a bit of opening before dropping down to just above teeth, bottom of cheekbones, coming out just in front of our ears where that jawbone meets, that joint there. Come down along the top of our jawbone. Little gentle, loving circles, giving your face some love. Drop underneath the chin, smooth out towards behind the ears. And just do one more routine of that. So if you need to shrug or wiggle, do so. And then in your own time, it was glide and slide up and down your forehead. Across the top of your eyebrows. To the temple. Under the eye socket. Down the sides of the nostrils. Under the cheekbones. Out towards your ears. Down along the jawbone. Isn't it interesting to note the shape of your face? Under the jawbone, slide out. Give those lymph nodes a little massage. And just relax your arms down. If you're in a chair that hasn't got arms, or you can just sort of roll and lower your hands as if they're carrying heavy shopping down the side, that's quite nice. And then we're just going to work on large intestine 4, which is the acupressure point, just in where there's almost like a little dip in that fleshy bit there. Just give it either a couple of little circles or a little press. There's just a sort of a bit of a depression just below where that V is, and either some sort of pressing and releasing, as if you're switching a button, or some little circles, and wherever is most comfortable for you to sit with that. Do it on your right hand, maybe 30 seconds, and on your left hand. And this large intestine 4 helps support your immune system, but it also helps with stress and anxiety. It's quite a nice one to go to, and you can do that anywhere. You can do it under a table. You can do it at, at work. Nobody needs to know that you're going for your little stress, anxiety. It can also help relieve pain as well, that one, and boost your immune system. It's quite a nice little one to have in your toolbox. So just sitting and getting re-established with your chair or your sofa or your bed, wherever you are at the moment. And I'm going to hand back to Annette. You said I was a sandwich and the filling.
Okay, great. Well, that may be all you need to actually have slowed your breathing down without you even noticing. So I'm going to ask you to have another go at it again, and possibly, I know it's hard to measure this, but possibly to actually breathe a little bit less than you were before. So I'll talk you through it a little bit more this time, rather than talk over it all with all the information that I was eager to express to you. So I'm going to ask you again you're breathing exclusively through your nose, and you're taking a slow, relaxed and gentle breath in, and a soft, relaxed and gentle breath out, and a slow, relaxed and gentle breath in, and a soft, relaxed and gentle breath out. Slow breath in, and a soft, relaxed and slightly longer exhale. A slow breath in, and a soft, relaxed and gentle breath out, and a slow breath in, and a soft, relaxed and gentle exhale. a slow breath in, a soft, relaxed and gentle exhale. Now, if it's possible, take in a little less air this time as you're breathing in, and make your exhale just maybe a second or so longer, nothing much, just a little bit, so that you're making a little bit of progress. And if not, stay where you are, it's fine. Make it fit with you. But I'm asking you to try and have that sense of air hunger, where ideally you'd like to breathe a little bit more, but it is tolerable, because this is going to help to reset your respiratory center back to normal. We're trying to go back to normal so that your breathing is the right kind of speed for your body and that you're not taking in too much air. So it's a slow breath in and a soft, relaxed and gentle breath out. So keep that going for a little bit longer. See what's happening in your mouth. Don't worry if you don't have that extra saliva. It doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It just means that if you do have it, you're doing it right. The air hunger means you're doing it right. The saliva means you're doing it right. And the warm extremities, which I don't get as easily. But they're all indications that you're doing it right. They don't have to all apply to you. So if you just keep that going for a little bit longer, see what it feels like. See if you can experience that air hunger and not be too put off by it. Because if you can keep training that, if you can do this practice for, ideally, to be honest, about 60 minutes over the course of the day, but that's over the course of the entire day. And I strongly, strongly recommend doing about 15 to 20 minutes of this before you go to bed. In fact, it was 20 minutes that these subjects in the test, that the research that was done recently were doing. They were doing 20 minutes of slow breathing, which came out with the rather excellent results about Alzheimer's. So a 20-minute burst or 20 minutes in pieces over the rest of the day, that's going to help. But overall, if you can do 60 minutes, and remember, a bit like the massage, to some degree, people can't tell you're doing this. Obviously, if you're meant to be talking to them, they can tell. But if you're doing it, I mean, you could be watching television and doing this. It's better if you can do it meditatively, because then you're adding something in. But you can't always. We've got busy lives. So sometimes do it when there's just an opportune moment, when there's something that doesn't need to involve you opening your mouth. So let's just finish it off for a minute or so more. I'm going to do this possibly at the wrong time. So it's a slow breath in and a soft, relaxed, and very gentle breath out. Slow the exhale if you can. A slow breath in and a soft, relaxed, and gentle breath out. And a slow breath in and a soft, relaxed, and gentle exhale. And a nice, slow breath in and a soft, relaxed, and gentle breath out, all through the nose exclusively. Slow breath in, soft, relaxed, and gentle breath out. And if you're able to shorten it even more so that the amount of air you're taking in is a little less even, then do it. If not, that's fine too. You'll get there eventually. You will, because everybody can do this in their own time. So we're just breathing in slowly and taking a soft, relaxed, and gentle breath out. Okay, so I think that's probably a good place to stop. Unfortunately, I don't have many videos in front of me, but of the ones that I can see, I know you were doing it right, because something quite unusual happens when you do this, which is very useful feedback for the trainer. And that is that your eyes go a bit glassy, and you did. So you were, if I can see you, you were doing it right. And you were probably doing it right if I can't see you as well. So that's really good news. So if you want, do you want to take your score again and see if it's changed? And please don't worry if it hasn't, but it'd just be interesting to see if this has made any difference to it. So it's the same as before. You're going to be taking a normal breath in through your nose, a normal breath out through your nose. It's not a big breath, never a big breath. Big breathing is not useful. So not in this context anyway. Normal breath in through your nose, a normal breath out through your nose. Pinch your nose and hold until your body says it's time to let go and breathe again. So you're just timing those seconds. So I'll give you a minute. Mm-hmm. Good. Yeah. Oh, good. So the ones that we've got there, I think if they've gone up, and that's great. I wouldn't worry though if it hasn't. Please don't worry if it hasn't. These things happen, and I don't remember what yours was, Jane, but I wouldn't be surprised if yours hasn't, because you've been talking, because you cannot fail but to breathe through your mouth when you're talking. So that's going to influence it as well. They're good. So on the whole, there is a likelihood that this calming effect of, and you only did a few minutes ultimately in little bursts with a bit of massage in between. And if you've already noticed a slight increase in your score, that's really positive. And if you haven't, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't, because on another occasion it might. So please don't get hung up about it. That would be unfortunate. I think we've got a few more there. Oh, it was 1 second plus. Okay, plus 1 second. Okay, I got that now. That's okay. Good. This is good. That's really good to see. So really, I would strongly recommend practicing this, because the problem is anybody who has any kind of condition, and particularly a fatigue-related condition, tends to have faster breathing, has dysfunctional breathing. And I am definitely not telling you it's the answer to all your problems. However, why make it worse than it needs to be? Because that's what happens when your breathing isn't quite right. And you can put it right by training it. You can retrain your breathing so that you can be less breathless and be less anxious. So this is the other thing, because if you're breathing too fast, you've got a constant, almost background hum of anxiety. Guess how I know? And sleep. I never expected my sleep to be positively impacted by this, because I've had insomnia for about 30 years. So having thought I'd tried everything, this is the thing to do. And when I do wake up in the small hours of the morning, which I still do, I mostly get back to sleep now, that's the revelation. But even if I don't, I do the slow breathing, because in addition to all the things I told you before, there's also something doing the rounds in the circles I move in called non-sleep deep rest. And this type of slow breathing does that. And if you do, let's say, an hour of it, which I know seems enormous, but that apparently, I mean, I'd like to see a bit more science on it, but apparently that equates to 20 minutes of sleep. Well, that's one way of catching up. So it's got to be worthwhile. What better thing can you do if it's not time to get up yet? And you can quiet your mind down, which may need a bit of intervention with a massage or meditation of some sort. But I do think doing it physically can be quite helpful to get you out of your head and a bit more into your body and noticing your body more. So that's it from me, but I'm very happy to answer any questions, and I would imagine Jane is too. So thank you very much.